here in Seattle against their division rivals. Welcome into Seattle. It's good to have you with us on Astros Baseball. And yesterday, after just one at-bat, the first at-bat of the second half of the season, the Astros took a 1-0 lead thanks to George Springer hitting his 20th home run of the year already, tying a season high for George. But that leadoff home run is something we've seen the Astros do a lot this year. It's our Toyota time to play as we take a look at it. It was the 10th time the Astros have done that. That ties a club record this season, and back in 2001 when they did it, Craig Biggio had 8 of the 10 homers on that year. How about this year though? Altuve with 6. Jose Altuve showing off the power, and George Springer now in that leadoff spot. He's been there since May 24th, having a lot of success. He's done it 4 times, and you would think many more to go for him. But how about the mentality that comes with putting your team on top right out of the gate like that? A 1-0 lead after one at bat can put the entire team in a better place as far as how they feel heading into the game, not playing from behind, which is something we saw the team do early this season. They're not doing that so much anymore. Also, as a hitter, the pressure that comes off after getting that first hit out of the way, first RBI and first dinger. Stay with us. First pitch is coming up from here at Safeco Field. We'll have more on Root Sports.
Brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. By Jack in the Box, it's back, the Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. From Seattle, at Safeco Field, the site where the Astros now will play their second game of this second half that Julia was just talking about. Winners last night, the Astros able to take it over Seattle. And Doug Fister picking up another win for the ball club. So with Lance McCullers coming today, that lineup for the Astros, George Springer in the top spot, followed by Marwin Gonzalez and Jose Altuve, the middle 3. Carlos Correa, Luis Valbuena, and Colby Rasmus in the bottom 3. Carlos Gomez, A.J. Reed, and Jason Castro.
Masashi Iwakuma going for the Seattle Mariners. Does not have good numbers this season against Houston. He has faced them twice. He has a 7.20 ERA in those 10 innings. He has 15 strikeouts, but he's also given up 14 hits and 8 earned runs. Astros doing all that damage, all the while just hitting 1 home run off Iwakuma.
And the first pitch of the ball game. Out there near the outside corner, Springer offering again and drives it, but foul down the right field side. It was that direction that Springer hit that leadoff home run last night. As Julia said, 4th of the year for George Springer. And when you add that with Jose Altuve and his 6 leadoff home runs, 10 for the club, tying that club record set way back in 2001. Craig Biggio, a big part of that one, along with Julio Lugo. 8 and 2 were the respective home runs. Ground ball up the middle. Gliding to his left to make the play is O'Malley in out number 1.
We've seen the fastball and the slider from Iwakuma. More of a sink or a arm side run from Iwakuma. That slider to go with it. Does have a split finger. Occasional cutter, curveball to back up those 3 primary pitches.
Brings up Marwin Gonzalez, who also homered in last night's game. His 7th of the year. It came from the left side of the plate, and it was well back there into the bleachers in right field. He's hit .289 with 13 RBIs in his last 36 games. And is making now his 62nd start of the year. Came out of spring training not really having one of the starting spots, but because of his tools and what he did last year, you knew he would play a lot. Maybe not this much. Iwakuma right in front, 0-2 on Marwin. Marwin Gonzalez against Seattle over his career has done very well, hitting .313, and the home run last night, the 10th he has hit against Seattle pitching. He's had multiple hits in 5 of his last 6 games now. On the hands, fouled back. That's 5 of 6 against Seattle, excuse me. And the home run's a big part of what Marwin Gonzalez has been able to put up against these Seattle Mariners. Iwakuma brings the 0-2. Brings the high heat and gets him. 2 down here in the first inning. First strikeout for Iwakuma. It'll bring up Jose Altuve. Iwakuma now 35 years of age. 130th career start with today's game. Re-signed with the Seattle Mariners as a free agent. Vesting option for 2017 and 18. Altuve had 1 hit in last night's game. Hitting .341 as he comes in. Off speed, finds the strike zone. At .341, the exact figure that saw him win the batting title 2 years ago. The Astros gunning for win number 50 on the year. They're 49 and 41. Tries to bunt his way aboard, and that ball gets a piece of Altuve, the home plate umpire today, taking a glance down to third base. Home plate umpire Brian O'Nora, he asked Jeff Kellogg down at third if this ball caught Altuve in the box or out.
Still in the box. That left foot still in there when that ball made contact with the right knee.
It often gives the appearance, at least to me, that guys will hit the ball out of the box, but almost every time you'll find that they just haven't moved enough to be out of the box. So 1-2 on Jose. Ground ball over the bag at third and down the line. Altuve will sprint to second base and will make it without a throw. A 2-out double as Altuve again tries to get it hot, swinging the bat much better last night.
Professional hitter Jose Altuve. Ball just running down and in, but Altuve able to keep that ball fair. Pretty good job on that split finger. You saw the grip out of the hand of Iwakuma. Easy double.
That's number 25 on the year for Jose, among the leaders in the American League. So Altuve in scoring position for Carlos Correa. And that's been one of the reasons the Astros have been able to make up so much ground here in recent times. They're just 4.5 games back of the Texas Rangers. Rangers continue to struggle while the Astros keep on winning. Carlos Correa, that factor driving in big runs for the club. Two for 4 last night with a double, a pair of RBIs for Mr. Correa. Ball's behind 0-2. Iwakuma coming right through with a fastball that found a lot more plate than he intended.
Yeah, sometimes you wonder if Carlos Correa is a guess hitter when he takes a fastball like that.
The Astros have another figure that probably nobody's thinking about, but not a bad figure to be able to attain today. They seek to get to 500 while playing on the road. 21-22 coming in.
It's a big deal.
I think when you look at clubs that do really well, they'll win at a high rate at home. They might even play above 500 ball on the road. Cleveland's been a great example this year. 1-2 now on Carlos. The Indians 10 games over at home, 7 games up on the road, and it's added up to a, I don't know, maybe for a lot of people, a surprise first place position right now, 6.5 in front of Detroit. I don't know, does AJ even think in terms of road and home, or just win every game you can win? One and two. Carlos Correa trying to get the Astros on top here in the first. And strike three taken. Another fastball pumped right through. Carlos Correa without swinging the bat down on strikes. And that'll do it. The Astros get the 2-out double by Altuve and strand him. Played a half an inning. Scoreless baseball. Lance McCullers loosens it up for the Astros. For the Seattle Mariners, their lineup looks like this today. Daniel Robertson in left field, followed by center fielder Leonis Martin and Robinson Cano. Middle three, Kyle Seager, Dae-Ho Lee, big strong first baseman, and Adam Lind. And the bottom three, Franklin Gutierrez, Jesus Sucre, and Sean O'Malley.
Lance McCullers on the mound. You'd see his numbers on the season. 10 starts. Here's an interesting number. He has, in those 10 starts, he's had 1 start with 3 walks or less. That was the last time he faced these Seattle Mariners, when he punched out 10 and only walked 1. Great ball game. I'd like to see a repeat performance of that.
The 11th start of the year for Lance. as he brings that first pitch, the fastball that gets away.
Do you see him shake his head?
Yep, right away.
I mean, he is already thoroughly annoyed with himself. The first pitch thrown, he can't get the fastball over.
Misses with another heater, falls behind 2-0. You talked about it. We've all talked about it. Lance McCullers does not seem to have found that ability to come out of the pen and be ready with the heater.
Yeah, that first inning, and I was talking about that in the open, is that first inning for him has been the real issue. He's given up 24 runs on the season, half of those in the first inning of his starts.
Now, I think Lance in his head right now thinks I can throw the curveball for a strike, but I imagine part of what the Astros have tried to do with him is get him to say, look, I can throw a fastball for a strike, and then throughout the ball game he's got the option to go either direction.
Yeah, could you imagine how much more effective that spiked curveball he throws would be if he was able to get ahead early with that heater?
Showing bunt, taking a strike is Daniel Robertson. It's 3-2. Just 22 years of age, though, and learning every time he gets out there. The fastball got him looking. So all fastballs. He eventually strikes out Daniel Robertson. First out of the game recorded for Lance McCullers.
Yeah, that's beautiful and effective. I'd just like to see him do it in less than 5 or 6 pitches as you look at the strike zone brought to you by MD Anderson and see the location on some of those fastballs.
Brings up the center fielder Leonis Martin, and I think to your point, that's exactly why the Astros would like him to establish some fastballs for strikes. The pitch count has been just getting to the point, 5, maybe 6 innings where you can't leave him out there anymore. And yet his stuff is so good, and hitters have such a tough time, but not right here. As Martin drills it down the right field side, Springer fires into second, not quite in time. It's a one-out double for Martin.
Well, this is what Mike Stantnax asked about in the open, is what do you do as a hitter if you know a guy is having a tough time commanding and you can just sit on one pitch, and if you get it in the zone, you have a pretty good chance as a big league hitter to hit that fastball. And that's what Martin did right there.
I will say on behalf of Lance McCullers, his breaking ball is so good that hitters, I believe, can sit on it at times, still don't get to it.
And that's why if I was a hitter, I would opt to hit on the heater that doesn't break as opposed to the breaking ball.
Yeah, I heard you talking about that, and I would have to completely agree. Pick out one and see if you can get it. So Martin in scoring position, 1 out for Robinson Cano. And there is the first breaking ball from McCullers. Did Cano, the wily veteran, go to the plate thinking, I'm going to go ahead and just look for that breaking ball and see if I can juice one? 7 All-Star appearances now for Cano. 4 times in that Home Run Derby championship, but down in the count 0-2 now to Lance McCullers. Robinson Cano tied for first in games played in the American League, 90 of them. 3rd in at-bats, 4th in hits, 8th in doubles, 8th in home runs, on and on. He will come up with all the offensive categories throughout the course of any year. For Robinson Cano, 114 hits prior to the All-Star break, 3rd most in his great career. Had 118 a couple of years, 2014, also 2010. And he's got a string going right now, reaching base safely in 34 straight games. I think a lot of us have asked, why have the Miami Marlins been so good this year? One of the reasons, a guy you might not have heard a lot about, Marcell Ozuna, has reached safely in 36 right now to lead the major leagues.
And he's got pop too. Good ball player out there in Miami.
Out on the hands, down at the knees. Stays at 1-2. Yeah, the Marlins don't get a lot of pub, but they do have some good young talent. Giancarlo Stanton seems to get the lion's share of the publicity that comes out of there. Some of it not so good this year after getting off to a slow start.
Ex-Mariner Ichiro Suzuki out there getting close to that 3,000 mark too.
Played well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Imagine with all the numbers, the years that Ichiro played in Japan, and now being as close as he is to 3,000 hits in the States. 262 hits one year with the Seattle Mariners, not hurting his cause at all. For Lance McCullers, just his 4th road start this year. And gets Robinson Cano on strikes. So a couple of strikeouts here in the inning. It'll bring up the cleanup man, Kyle Seager.
Let's see, even with the missing the spot by a good 1.5 feet, still has enough break on that curveball to get the punch out. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time and later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
First base open with Martin at second base. Dae-Ho Lee waiting on deck. Kyle Seager is riding a 14-game hitting streak. 18 dingers on the year, 61 RBIs. He is a force in this order as McCullers tries to pick Martin at second. For Lance McCullers, the start today, the 3rd since missing a scheduled start with a blister on his right index finger. It's just in the early stages. They caught it right when they needed to. There's that fastball up to 97. And that's the kind of arm that Lance McCullers possesses. What might this conversation be about?
I don't know. Have you tried the deep fried bacon at Dragonfish? Could be. I don't know.
Could be. I was wondering if he was asking the home plate umpire if he actually saw that heater at 97.
And if you happen to see it, would you have called it a strike?
Instincts say, yeah, it sounded like it was right there. There's the curveball missing. Seattle Mariners have struggled here in recent times. Nelson Cruz banged the ball off his foot last night, not in today's lineup. And that wicked breaking ball once again. It's 1-2. It was 12 days ago that Lance McCullers faced these Mariners at Minute Maid Park, struck out 10 in that one. Curveball was as close to untouched that day as any time you'll see for a pitcher. Comes again and got him. 3 strikeouts in the first inning around the double by Martin. As he is stranded, we played 1. Lance McCullers bringing the heat and the yacker.
Mariners join the Astros at Minute Maid Park Friday, July 22nd as they take on the Angels. 10,000 fans will receive an Astros fedora presented by Goya. For more information, visit astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Did you guys get a lot of tweets about the fedoras last night at the Mariners game? I think everyone was confused, but this was a giveaway last night. So that's why you're seeing
I think Ash had a pretty good theory on it about Dave Sims, I believe it is here, broadcaster for the Seattle Mariners. Wears those on a consistent basis.
He rocks it.
Yeah, he does. So I think that might be a little tribute to him. But we know Carlos Correa can rock the fedora also.
That's true.
You think Julia was kind of telling us right there that maybe we could stand a fedora every now and then? Yeah, that's the
Dude,
look
I'm
right
not
there.
covering up this moss with a fedora.
That's not a fedora.
It's the British Open week right there. So
he rocks all kinds of hats.
See, once again, I kind of sensed that Julia was saying maybe we could use some help.
I don't know what you're talking about. But we got to get you guys some Astros fedoras.
See, there it comes again. Thanks a lot, Julia. The 1-2, or the 1-1 rather, fouled off by Valbuena. Leading off here in the second inning, Valbuena, Rasmus, and Carlos Gomez. Could be a very good one from the mound today. Iwakuma against McCullers. McCullers striking out 3 in the first inning. Iwakuma got a pair. With Marwin Gonzalez at the plate in the first inning. A couple of strikes. Iwakuma just came right up the ladder, tried to do it again there. In the case of Marwin, strikeout followed. And now 3-2. Luis Valbuena, despite being quite hot in recent games, big home runs, helping the team win games. 0 for his last 7 now. And down on strikes, so 3 recorded by Iwakuma. First out here in the second inning.
Iwakuma doesn't have the velocity you would think to be able to punch out guys, but he also does what he does well is move the ball all over the strike zone with those 4 different pitches that he has.
And back in action, a lot of the fans and wondering where's Colby Rasmus. Kojak is back. Missed the last 4 games before the All-Star break. Had an ear infection.
He's got way too much hair to be called Kojak, doesn't he?
I don't know. Have you ever seen that stuff when you leave it in the fridge for a while?
Huh? What?
Get some moss and it'll start growing stuff.
Oh, I didn't
over.
know we kept moss in the fridge. I thought it was
No,
Rolling Stones.
We keep the Kojak in the fridge, and then. Oh well, I don't need to explain to you. 0-2 the count.
Wasn't Kojak a bald detective?
Was he ever? He had nothing on Colby Rasmus. What kind of a welcoming did Colby get when he went back to St. Louis to Busch Stadium this year? Yeah.
Yeah, they gave him a nice round of applause. It was great.
Yadier Molina stepped out and enabled the fans to
I don't know if I'd
give
go
some
that
love.
far.
No?
No.
Well, since that point, June 14th, Colby's hit .323, has a double, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs. All of that in 18 games. He's had that tendency to be a hot and cold hitter. In the air, shallow to center field. Second baseman calling and making the play. In fact, that's the shortstop with that shift on. That's O'Malley with the catch in shallow center field. Second out of the inning. Martin in center field was deep on Colby. O'Malley came in last night's game due to an injury and played well. Had a big 2-run double. Carlos Gomez with that hanging curveball fouls it off.
Mariners banged up already first game into the break. The first game out of the break. Already talked about Nelson Cruz with that bruise off the top of the foot last night. Marte with that slide into third base, twisting an ankle.
Charlie Furbush, Felix Hernandez, who pitched in a minor league game last night. Taijuan Walker, yeah, they've got some big names that are missing in action.
King Felix, I read a report on him that said he is ready to come back.
Well, he made that comment following last night's game. I often wonder, when a guy says, I feel good, he's performing well, why keep him down in the minor leagues for another outing? I'm not sure. Taken down and away, close. It's 1-2 now. Should Gomez reach, A.J. Reed is the DH. He waits on deck. There's A.J. It's been a little bit tough here recently finding playing time. A lot of left-hand pitching against the Astros.
Oh no.
Yes.
Man.
That went flying. They have new extensions in some of the ballparks with the screens beyond the plate, and I don't know if that's part of the new extension there, but certainly saves some folks.
Yeah, we've seen some ballparks actually take that screen down past the dugouts. This one here at Safeco does not extend that far, but luckily hits the screen.
I am completely in favor of extension of screens. Never worth it when somebody has a bat or even a line drive come their way and unable to handle it. Gomez down on strikes. They will record the out down at first base, and that'll do it for the Astros in the second inning. A couple of more strikeouts, 4 recorded by Iwakuma. Scoreless after 1.5.
Houston Methodist would like to bring you today's league leaders as we take a look at leaders in breaking ball chase percentage. Lance McCullers has a good one, has a tendency to get guys chase after it. Frankie's always had that good breaking ball. Michael Pineda, he's been getting roughed up this season, but that curveball's been pretty good for him.
So Lance McCullers set for the second inning, struck out 3 in the first. Around a double by Leonis Martin. Daeho Lee leads it off. One of those international signings, and Lee has provided some power for Seattle. Not so much with swings like that, but he does have 12 home runs on the year. Great power the other way. In the air and fairly deep into right center. Easy for Springer. And out number 1 here in the second.
Some high hopes from Seattle fans on that routine fly ball.
Got kind of excited, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, in Houston, we have seen Lee go oppo a couple of times, once to the second tank, and really impressive. Adam Lind, the DH, will stand in. Lind, another one of these Seattle Mariner hitters with lots of pop. Mariners second in the league in home runs, 132 long balls. Adam Lind has 13 of those. Is Lance McCullers able to get that fastball into the strike zone? Right now, I would say still really struggling. Well, that's all you have to do is make him upset. 95 as he blows it by Lind. Breaking ball grounded to second. Altuve, that familiar position, one knee to the ground, and the second out of the inning. Some of the fans asking about a comment about the Cuban player the Astros have now signed. They've acknowledged. Jeff Luhnow had a press conference here in Seattle today. Yulieski Gurriel has signed, 32 years of age, and Blummer, we've heard a lot of good things about this guy.
We keep hearing comparisons with Yoenis Cespedes or a Yunel Escobar. Either of those guys I would be thoroughly pleased with.
Jose Abreu.
We've heard he's better than Jose Abreu, which would be pretty impressive because Abreu burst onto the scene winning that Rookie of the Year. But everything I've heard has been very good offensively, puts together great at-bats, does not strike out much. I saw the numbers yesterday, right around 250 at-bats in 2015, and only struck out 3 times, yet walked 38 times. So that high on-base percentage, that ability to drive gap to gap, doesn't necessarily have the same amount of pop that maybe Cespedes has.
Ball hit sharply and backhanded up from a knee. Valbuena makes the play and retires Franklin Gutierrez. So we'll talk a little bit more about Yulieski Gurriel as we go through the day. Another 1-2-3 inning here, or the first of the day for Lance McCullers.
Quicken Loans Rocket Arms in the American League. David Price, ERA is a little bit inflated, but he's still going out there and striking guys out. In 19 games, he's got 140 Ks. And of course, Max Scherzer. He'll beat you in a staring contest every time, but he also has 164 strikeouts.
Which eye do you focus in on?
That's the problem.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to him. How about Steven Strasburg, 13-0 on the year?
That's a pretty good start, isn't it? And how about Max Scherzer being on there? He tied Max Scherzer, who did it once for the Detroit Tigers.
So he tied himself?
Yeah. No, Strasburg tied
Scherzer
so when Scherzer did it with the Detroit Tigers.
We are in the third inning, scoreless game. A.J. Reed with his first plate appearance. The DH takes a breaking ball for a called strike. It's 0-2. I would be surprised with the scouting reports as they are these days that A.J. Reed would see a fastball to hit. Certainly out over the plate, that would surprise me.
Yeah, I agree.
Splitter hit in the air right off the end of the bat. Shallow fly ball in center as Martin makes the play. One up, one down in the third.
Well, it makes you wonder too, if you're aggressive with the fastball, why do you not swing at it early in the count if that's what you're keying on? If you know you're a good fastball hitter, usually if you get one, I was a very good fastball hitter, and if there was a fastball in the zone, I was sure as heck going to give it a pretty good pass.
Well, sometimes it's the other way flipped around. You know you're not a good off-speed hitter, and therefore your only course of action right now is to hit the fastball. All part of learning what it's about to play in the big leagues. But at some point, you've got to find a way to make that adjustment. One out for Jason Castro. Got a couple of hits last night. It's one to lead down at first base. Second out of the inning provides us a chance to check in with Julia.
Sesh, the Coca-Cola Value Nights package is one of the best ballpark bargains. Available for select Monday through Thursday regular season games. This offer scores you a hot dog, soda, and popcorn offered just $18. To purchase tickets, visit astros.com/CokeValue or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
No Fedora hat included in that deal.
Nope. You got to come on July 22nd for that.
Well, the Astros doing that at home too.
The Jeff Blum Fedora hat promo that's going on. Back to the top with George Springer, who rakes one hard down the left field side. Springer grounded out to shortstop in the first. In 45 games since George has been moved to the leadoff spot, what a difference for this club. May 24th was the date. The Astros have had the best record in the major leagues, 32-13. How much of that is due to George in the top spot, others that change spots in the order? Altuve batting third now, and of course Carlos Correa moving to that 4 spot. For whatever reason, I don't know if you have any opinions, but it has just made this a better offense. 1-2 on Springer.
Kind of buying into having those hitters early in the lineup just so you can give them more opportunities to get at bats during the game.
Springer has a 10-game hitting streak right here at Safeco Field. Waits on the curveball, hits it in the air to left center field. And Martin with the play. 1-2-3 in the third. We've played 2.5. Astros and Seattle Mariners all scoreless.
And something good can happen, you know, and he was right on the money. I think the accuracy was just as impressive as the velocity. I mean, it's a long throw Valbuena with a really quick tag. Thank God for replay, obviously.
Back in Seattle, our Geico quote of the day, it comes from A.J. Hinch following last night's game. Carlos Gomez had a big throw from center field. Ball got over his head, and he was able to get his man at third base, Ketel Marte. And A.J. with those comments, pretty well summing up what you see a lot of the time from Carlos. Jesus Sucre, the catcher for Seattle, leads it off. He's hit in 5 consecutive games. It's that good curveball. 0-2 the count. For Lance McCullers, tighten up some of these pitch counts. Get your way through a little more action today. Just missing away. Again, that home plate umpire today, Brian Onora. Ryan Blakeney, Alan Porter, and Jeff Kellogg, the other umpires around the infield. Sucre, Sean O'Malley, and Daniel Robertson back at the top here in the inning. Curveball finds the inside edge. Sucre caught looking. 4th strikeout for Lance McCullers. With 1 out, it brings up Sean O'Malley.
Nasty pitch. Again, the command not exactly there, but when you've got the stuff that Lance McCullers does and it has a good sharp break on that curveball that he has, you can miss your spot and get away with it.
A mixture of fastballs and curveballs today from Lance, as that first heater gets away on the arm side at 96. O'Malley, a switch hitter, hitting just .224. Picked up 2 of his 7 RBIs in last night's game. And again, that difficulty to get the fastball into the strike zone. Finds the zone at 95. There's that comfort pitch, the curveball. 3-1 now for Lance. Don't want to walk the 9 hitter as you get back toward the top of the order. But there is the 1-out walk. Daniel Robertson is the leadoff man now for Seattle, with Ketel Marte going down with an ankle injury last night. Robertson, strikeout victim in the first. Back to the mound. McCullers, Correa, and on to Marwin Gonzalez, and the Astros turn the double play. First on the afternoon, and it comes at a nice time. That'll do it for the Mariners in the 3rd inning. There was a walk, but the double play gets McCullers out. Still scoreless. Beautiful venue, and been putting a few people in here the last couple of days, including a lot of Astros fans. Astros winners in game 1. They've won 7 of 11 on the season. The Astros start the day 4.5 games back of the Texas Rangers. 49-41 are the Houston Astros. 28-19 at home, 21-22 on the road. Marwin Gonzalez tries to get something going on the offensive side. It's Gonzalez, Altuve, and Correa here in the 4th as Iwakuma brings a strike.
Change up, like a good 3 inches off the outside corner.
.254 that batting average. Flashing some power. Hits it down the right field line, but hooking foul. 0-2 the count.
Nice play, kid.
A future player.
Yeah, that's why you bring the glove.
These the old Mariners hats. You remember the excitement of those days?
I do.
Sure you went out to Dodger Stadium like I did, and
yeah, I brought my glove, but it was more to catch the nosebleed that I had as opposed to a foul ball.
so you were up in the upper tank?
Yeah, I was up in those red seats right behind home plate, way back.
You know what I thought the great thing about that yard was, still is, the parking lot brought you to the level wherever you were seating.
True.
Popped up, shallow in left center. Left fielder coming on and making the play is Robertson. First out here in the inning. Academy Sports and Outdoors, homers for Houston. Shows you the Astros home run leaders on the road this year. George Springer is at the top of the heap with that home run from last night. Plummer.
Yeah, he's good. He likes hitting on the road, but I think most of that's because George Springer's pop can't be held in most major league ballparks.
Well, he spread it around very nicely. 20 on the year, 10 on the road. Jose Altuve stands in. Altuve had a 2-out double back in the first inning. Started the day hitting .341. That's pushed it to .343. Iwakuma trying to paint on that outside edge. Starting second baseman at the All-Star game once again. He's done it twice now. 4th time he's made the All-Star team. There's some paint. 1-2 the count. On the road this year, it's been phenomenal what Altuve's done. Leads the entire American League in batting average on the road. Of course, he leads overall anyway, but .396 while away from Minute Maid Park. Pitch up is hammered deep center field. Moving back, Martin at the wall and able to haul it in. Altuve gives it a ride, comes up empty. Second out here in the inning. It'll bring up Carlos Correa.
Almost jumped him right there. High heater Altuve. Got those quick hands through the zone. Barreled it up. With that elevated in the zone, just skied it a little too much in a deep part of this ballpark here at Safeco. 20 or 30 feet to the left. That may get out of here.
Carlos Correa with Altuve at second base back in the first inning. Struck out looking all the way. He's taken now 4 strikes in the early goings of this game. Not a single swing from Carlos. Ball and a strike. Correa with 5 walk-off hits this year. Most in club history by a shortstop. And responsible for 4 walk-off wins for the team. The last one coming on an E5. Tough ground ball down the left field on the third base side, and go to first base, a rather close plate. Pulled the first baseman off the bag. Correa avoided the tag, and that was the end of the ball game. 2-2. So there's your first swing on the day by Carlos on a curveball that appeared to be away.
This gives you the impression he's sitting on that slider. So I'll take a couple fastballs in that first at bat. Here, trying to stay back long enough to hammer that slider. Just Iwakuma has a little bit better break on it.
Watching the fact that Iwakuma would throw Carlos Correa a couple of fastballs in the strike zone back in the first inning with a man in scoring position makes me wonder what that book looks like on Correa. Does it say that when there are men in scoring position that maybe he becomes off speed? Of course, he's handled everything and he uses the entire field. In Correa, you're talking about the team leader with 57 ribbies. He actually didn't go to that cleanup spot until June 14th. Since that date, talking roughly a month ago, 25 RBIs, 9 doubles, 6 home runs, a .923 OPS. And Correa draws the 2-out walk. As Correa heads to first, we head to Julio Morales.
Thank you, Ash. As Luis Valbuena comes up to bat here, he, along with a lot of the other Astros, getting out of town for the All-Star break, but Valbuena actually came to Seattle a couple of days early. This is what he did. He went out to Mount Rainier National Park with his wife, son, and a friend of his. There's a son posing. They said this was a couple of hours away from Seattle, but the snow, I can't believe this, how close it is to where we are right now. Gorgeous views. He really enjoyed it and got him away from baseball a little bit and enjoyed his family too.
Thank you, Julia.
I'll tell you what, that's one of the more impressive sights when you're flying into Seattle, that Seattle-Tacoma area, is if you're coming up north and you're on the right-hand side of the plane, you can see that thing and it is massive. Even if there's cloud cover, you can see the peak way up above it. Good for him.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have guessed that would have been the destination for the break for Luis Valbuena. Always intriguing, just cool to find out what guys do during the break. Want to know the count. Let's take a look at Carlos Correa following the walk that sent him to first.
I'm going to take off my shin guard, but I do not have a shin guard on. I'm going to go to first and play it off.
What do you mean I forgot that shin guard?
I've done that so many times. Oh, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to take this to first. Nobody will ever know.
You know what? He made it look rather cool, though.
It makes everything look cool.
Yeah, he does. Iwakuma with a toss to first. The Astros continue to lead the American League in stolen bases with 68. And now 2-1 the count.
You know what we failed to mention? Gary Pettis may have to change his number.
Yeah, the signing that we mentioned of the Cuban player, Yulieski Gurriel, included apparently that he gets number 10. And on the hands, a little slow dribbler. O'Malley, the shortstop, with the play, and that'll do it for the Astros. They leave a man on the walk to Carlos Correa. Through 3.5, a scoreless game.
No score here in Seattle, and Leonys Martin will lead things off for the Mariners. I got a chance to catch up with him on the Cuban that the Astros signed today, Julius Gurriel. He actually played with him on the national team for a few years, played against him a lot. Instead of Gurriel, he said he's a great player, hates that he's in the division now. And he also said got a lot of pop, and he'll be a great fit in Minute Maid Park. Lots of high praise, though, for the fellow Cuban from Leonys Martin. Good to hear, guys.
Thank you very much, Julia. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning as Lance McCullers brings the heater away. Scoreless game. Well pitched to this point. Lance McCullers, through his 3 innings, has struck out 4. He also got a double play that he started himself. At a 1-2-3 second inning. And with that 2-0 comes with the comfortable curveball.
Pretty well spotted one, too. Great location on that, down and away.
He has such a high degree of confidence in that pitch. And now 3-1. And these are those pitch building moments for Lance McCullers. Talking about pitch counts specifically. Five-pitch walk. That puts Martin at first with nobody out.
Whether you are treating employees, hosting clients, or bringing out your church or youth sports team to Minute Maid, Astros group tickets will create an experience your group is sure to remember. Visit astros.com/groups or call 1-877-9-ASTROS to enjoy your special pricing and great benefits by reserving your group today.
Got a final in today. Once again, the Cubs have done it. They've defeated the Texas Rangers 3-1. So that, for the moment, leaves the Astros 4 games back in the division.
That's good news. Cubs, very good ball club. That's actually a pretty good matchup. 3-1 that final score, but Cubs helping out.
That means at the end of the day, with a win today, the Astros could be just 3.5 back. And what a change of complexion this American League West division has taken. That curveball got Robinson Cano in his first at bat. Yu Darvish took the loss. Ball and a strike on Cano. Strikeout victim back in the first inning. And now 1-2.
I'm having a tough time picking up the ball. You don't see him chase too often.
96 on that fastball, and we've seen Lance up to 97 today. Good breaking ball, frozen Cano. And he's down on strikes for the second time this afternoon. And the first out of the inning.
He's got Cano all twisted up. It's a pretty filthy pitch on that outside corner. We saw that same pitch in a 2-0 count to Leonys Martin. With a phenomenal location, a big strikeout.
5 strikeouts for Lance McCullers. Kyle Seager at the plate also struck out in the first inning. Seager asked for and receives timeout. Starts him off speed, falls behind. Talked about Kyle Seager quite a bit last night. He has become one of the really good ones at third base. He's picked up a Gold Glove in his young career. 18 home runs already, 61 RBIs. Curveball just almost impossible to hit. Very confident young man. Yeah, that's the first changeup I've recognized today. Just the second season in the major leagues for Lance. 6 years now for Kyle Seager. Check swing, foul ball. 2-2 the count. And in those 6 years, parts of already 114 career home runs.
It's pretty good. You couldn't see Brian O'Nora in that picture that you just saw, but Kyle Seager looked back and said, was that a strike? And what we saw is Brian O'Nora nodding his head yes.
Runner goes, the throw down perfect from Castro, and they got him. Well done on Leonys Martin. Jason Castro doing it all right there.
That was beautiful. I'm not sure what's going on right there. That was a 2-2 count because that ball being up out of the zone makes the count 3-2, not really a hit and run count. It kind of looked like Leonys Martin was attacking second base as if he was expecting a swing. But a great catch and throw by Jason Castro helps out your pitcher when you can get outs like that.
Curveball gets away, and the walk now to Seager.
First 2 seasons, we'll look at our Ford spray chart, so to speak. Last year's pitch usage on the left-hand side, 2016 pitch usage on the right side. And you can see he is heavy on that breaking ball because the fastball location has been an issue.
To me, that's a matter of confidence for Lance. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I think he's comfortable with the curveball. Dae-Ho Lee sees the breaking ball for a called strike. Lee's done a very nice job hitting .291, 12 home runs. Jason Castro just picking that breaking ball out of the dirt. Still a scoreless game today. A nice pitching matchup with Lance McCullers against Hisashi Iwakuma. Fastball runs in on the hands. And again back to 97. Talked to Lance recently and he voiced that he is now feeling comfortable. There are no issues in his head about the shoulder problems that he had, and just kind of going back to his normal arm stroke. Everything feeling the way he wants it. Two balls and 2 strikes. Left hand hitting Adam Lind waiting on deck. Seager not a threat to run. Watch out.
Yeah, that was a scud going into the stands, man. Late hack and a 2-strike count on a fastball. Ooh.
Lee has that ability on that late hack you talk about to just launch it the other way.
I don't know if that's an attribute or not.
Yeah, when he keeps it fair, those rare occasions it seems to be. For the fans on the right field side, not so much right now. Strike 3 called, inside edge on the curveball. McCullers gets him 6 strikeouts now for Lance. We played 4 scoreless from Seattle. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Lexus, the new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. Julia Morales can catch her some fish.
I wonder if she's recovered from that shoulder injury from catching that fish yet.
What is that, the pike market?
I was fine after that. Thank you.
Yeah, surgery helped
You
a
had
bit.
to show that one. You know there was a great take right before that. Cut it perfectly. And that one wasn't shown.
So we've
what
heard.
happened? Yeah.
Thank you, Julia. We're into the 5th inning in a scoreless game. As Colby Rasmus skies one to left field, first out of the inning. It'll bring up Carlos Gomez. We know Julia can catch.
Good. Keep looking. It's in the archives. I promise.
We're just going to watch you and see what comes next.
My bloopers always seem to make the air.
I'm just glad you brought the sunbrella.
I knew I was going to get called out for that.
Only in Seattle does your umbrella protect you from the rain that's here about 9 months out of the year, but it can protect you from the sun that rarely comes out.
Yes, let's protect our skin.
I see
I have
you.
great people working around me here in Seattle. They take care of me.
Thank
They
you.
duct tape this thing. It's awesome.
Got to protect the
Gomez
talent.
pops it up. It's Robinson Cano under and making the catch. Second out here in the inning. Oh, we can't get enough of Julia, right?
There we go. She was right. It was in there.
Yes. There it is.
Proud owner of a new fish.
Baseball is next. Wow, that was pretty good.
What kind of fish were those, Julia?
She's impressed with herself.
That was a couple months ago. What kind of fish? It was some kind of salmon.
Whenever we ask Julia a question and you get that "it was a couple of months ago" answer, you know what the ultimate answer is.
That was my second time to do that. I did it back in 2013, I believe.
She gets
So
better
I'm-
every time, too.
No,
Plenty of practice.
seasoned veteran, except for that whole shoulder thing, but we won't talk about that anymore.
Hey, you made the play. That's all that matters.
A.J. Reed has taken a couple of off-speed pitches, both called strikes, and now down on the count quickly, 0-2. Reed batting in the 8 spot. He's the DH. And then the high heat. So Reed is 0 for 2 on the day. That's strikeout number 5 for Iwakuma through 4.5. It stays a scoreless game.
Bottom of the 5th, and it's time to show you the Chevy Strobe poll. Make sure to get over to our Root Sports SW Twitter page to vote in the poll today. Which West Coast stadium would you most want to visit? Right here in Seattle at Safeco Field, AT&T Park in San Francisco, Dodger Stadium, one of the oldest, or Petco Park in San Diego. This is a good one. Those are some great ballparks, guys.
Yeah, they are. Some of our favorites, no doubt about it. I don't know what Julia's going to dine on here at the yard today. It was sushi the other day. What do you dine on at a ballpark under a parasol?
Whatever you want. Maybe
Oh.
some garlic fries.
That's actually the perfect answer. Lance McCullers starts things here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 6 strikeouts already for Lance. Adam Lind at the plate has a 2-0 count. Much better today than the last time out. 62 pitches at this point. And even with a 2-0 count, Adam Lind gets the fastball you would presume he's looking for and fouls it at the plate. Don't know what Brian O'Nora might have had to say there. That may have been just time killing, allowing Jason Castro to catch his breath, regain control after a foul tip. Curveball finds that outside corner. It's 2-2. Lance has gotten a number of calls in that same area, both right and left hand hitters. Yeah, now 3-2. McCullers has walked 3. He's picked up 1 double play to erase 1 of those walks. 1 a caught stealing. That was Leonys Martin in the 4th inning. Adam Lind keeps the count alive as he offers on the high heat. Lind will slug the ball around the around the ballpark and hits one in the air deep to left center field. Astros had him played well. Gomez back to make the play, and out number 1.
See Gomez in that left center field gap, and we see a lot of times them playing the ball on the ground and then the other way in the air. Good thing he was, but still that first step from Gomez was in. Still enough hang time on that fly ball to break back and make the play.
Franklin Gutierrez will stand in, getting a start in right field this afternoon for Seattle. And again, McCullers falls behind. It's hard to pick on a guy when he's shutting down the Seattle Mariners, working into the 5th inning, which is what McCullers is doing, and yet just that ineffectiveness with finding the strike zone with the heater. Two and 1 the count.
So much life in that right arm, though.
He's got a great arm, doesn't he?
Man.
He is the one guy in the Astros starting rotation that can bring the noise on a club, really kind of wake guys up. On the 2-1, he turns to the curveball, throws a hanger, but it's a called strike.
What's that term? Effectively wild?
Yeah. And he is that. But I imagine Brent Strom would love to see a little more effectiveness in the strike zone, less 3-2 counts.
Well, I guarantee you Lance McCullers feels the same exact
sure.
way.
Sure.
He's just having a tough time finding that release point. Because again, he's thrown 72 pitches and still able to touch 97 miles an hour.
3-2 hit sharply by Valbuena down the left side. And we'll see how this is ruled. Likely a hit. If so, it is the 2nd hit of the afternoon for Seattle.
High heater at 95 was absolutely smashed by Franklin Gutierrez. Got on top of it, creating that top spin, and it was more or less self-preservation by Luis Valbuena down there, because that was an in-between borderline short hop. Really didn't have a time to react or drop step to see that ball just a little bit longer.
And justly ruled, it is a base hit. Leonys Martin had the only other hit, came back in the 1st inning, a double. And the Astros have the same story today. They have just 1 hit, a double by Altuve in the 1st inning. So any kind of offense at all this afternoon, tough to come by. 0-2 the count. Catcher Jesus Sucre at the plate. Strikeout victim in the third. Mentioned in Sucre's first at bat, he's hit safely in 5 straight. McCullers upset with himself, leaving that curveball high. Don't get his mannerisms wrong. He has great belief in himself. In fact, at times you wonder if he feels like nobody should be able to touch what he brings. 2-2 now. The Astros have turned the game's only double play. That came in the third. And now 3-2 once again.
Tell you what, a ground ball right here would really benefit Lance McCullers in that pitch count.
So Lance with one after another deep counts has to this point found a way to get the outs he needs. But not here. Sucre draws the walk. With 1 out, runners at first and second for the 9-hitter Sean O'Malley.
Come get a behind-the-scenes look at Minute Maid Park. Learn all about the park by visiting Astros like the historic Union Station, luxury suites, Diamond Club, and much more. For more information, visit astros.com/tours or call 713-259-8996.
You know there has to be a lot of concern right there. Coach's row. And he'll take it on his shoulders. Brent Strom, the pitching coach. 1 out. Couple of runners aboard. Sean O'Malley, the switch hitter, stands in. He drew a walk in the 3rd inning. That's 4 walks now issued by Lance. Gets a call. 0-1 the count. Because Lance McCullers has the great stuff, he's able to get away with more walks and more deep counts over the course of a game. But boy, you'd love to get him deeper into games. Curveball, chopped foul. McCullers gets in front. 0-2. We mentioned the Texas Rangers have been defeated for a 2nd straight day by the Chicago Cubs. The Astros, for the moment, 4 games back. The Seattle Mariners 4 games back of Houston. They're 8 games back at the moment. Curveball got him looking. So Lance McCullers comes up with his 7th on the afternoon. And now with 2 down, Daniel Robertson, the leadoff man, will stand in. There are your standings. American League West has really tightened up. Rangers at one time were 11 games in front of the Astros. In the wild card, Astros still behind a couple of ball clubs that have played well. Boston Red Sox, Toronto Blue Jays, teams with a lot of expectations, just like Houston. Robertson takes a ball. Robertson is struck out and grounded into the double play. Good fastball from Lance. Again up to 97. You start getting him over 95 on a regular basis, he becomes one of the real hard throwers in the game. When you talk about starting pitching.
Tell you what, he's learning early on to pitch in some stressful situations, constantly with base runners on. Doesn't seem to faze him. He's still able to go out there and be effective.
His stuff is just simply better than other guys. Would you agree?
Yeah, I do agree, and I also believe that Lance has a very good baseball mind in the sense that he knows how to pitch out of damage. It's not easy to do as a young kid, but he also has the stuff to back it up, which I think encourages him in these situations not to panic.
Has a 1-2 count, trying to get out of the 5th inning. Daniel Robertson just waits on that curveball and lashes it foul.
That was his OMG swing.
Sometimes that's what it turns into at the plate, isn't it?
Right. You recognize the pitch. You're not sure if it's going to break into the top part of that zone. Take that 9-1-1 hack and foul it off. Stay alive.
Boston Red Sox lead at New York over the Yankees 2-1. They're in the top of the 5th. And again on that curveball, little fly ball shallow and right. Springer on to make the play, and that'll do it. McCullers gets out of the jam with the base hit and the walk. He strands a pair. We played 5, and you see nothing but zeros.
Here at Safeco Field. Kick off your weekends at Minute Maid Park. Every Friday night home game is followed by the best fireworks show in town. The next Friday night fireworks is Friday, July 22nd and is a cappella themed. For more information, visit astros.com/fireworks or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Ash?
What's going on, Julia? You got anything fun down by the dugout?
Trying to stay cool. Okay, I'm cool. I'm good down here.
That's a line you don't often hear in Seattle.
No, it feels great today.
It does feel nice. Scoreless game. The Astros would love to get on the board. They've got Jason Castro leading it off. He's in the 9 spot. George Springer and Marwin Gonzalez to follow here. 6th inning. You expected a well-pitched game. Lance McCullers against Hisashi Iwakuma, and it has been all of that. Jason Castro grounded to first, his only at bat. Had a couple of hits in last night's game. Got the start last night against the left-hander James Paxton. Played very well. Hisashi Iwakuma, it's a lot anyway about that splitter, the change he brings. Trying to come up the ladder with the fastball. By the way, Lance McCullers with 87 pitches through his 5 innings. So he's probably in a spot where one more inning is about all he can get today. Two and two on Castro. Ballpark pretty well filled in this afternoon in Seattle. They've got a bobblehead day going on with Robinson Cano, the featured player.
Yeah, I'm impressed with the weather the way it is. Must be a pretty good bobblehead to get them in the ballpark because it is gorgeous. Where else would you rather be?
So you're saying there are things to do here?
There's plenty to do, but what's great is there's a day game. The sun stays out until about 9 o'clock at night. Good restaurants around here.
Castro with a 3-2 count now. The Astros have had the one hit, the double by Altuve, and a walk to Carlos Correa, and that's been it. Strike 3 is taken by Castro. 6 strikeouts now for Iwakuma. Pretty impressive numbers there. Only 3 hits in the ball game. Colors with those 4 walks, but the stuff has been fantastic. George Springer at the top has grounded out and flied out. Mentioned that George Springer has a 10-game hitting streak right here at Safeco Field. There's a stat that surprises me. Among American League outfielders, George Springer ranks first with 20 home runs.
Huh.
You think of outfielders as being the guys that lead in the dingers.
Oh yeah, years past for sure.
He's tied for second in outfield assists. No surprise there. And he earns his. He doesn't pick it up with the hit the cutoff man and then have something happen. 4th in runs scored, 6th in RBIs, doing it all for good reason. A lot of folks wanted to see him on the All-Star team.
Houston stepped up and did a good job in voting him. Even though he came in second place, he was competing against an entire country in Canada in that final vote for the All-Star voting. So I give a lot of credit to the Houston Astros fan base for trying to get George in there, which I think he deserved to be in.
You can see defensively, no shift on, kind of a semi-shift in the infield, but you don't see the pulling of the second baseman to that third base side. So George keeps everybody alive, shooting to the entire field. You see he waits extremely well on off-speed pitches. To my eye, a number of the Springer home runs have come on the off-speed pitch. But the splitter gets him. 2 strikeouts here in the inning. Now 7 for Iwakuma. It'll bring up Marwin Gonzalez.
The split's pretty nasty. You got to throw a pretty good one, like you were saying, Ash, to get it past George Springer. Good strike zone discipline. Fouled off that fastball up. This one right here just snaps off the table. Better be making some pretty good pitches to get George right now.
Marwin has struck out and flied out. Launched his 7th home run on the year in last night's game. And I mean, he got, if not all of it, very close to it. A fastball to handle right there. When you talk heater for Iwakuma, You're talking generally below 90 miles an hour. Ball and a strike. Brian O'Nora not biting on that pitch, just off the outside edge.
Iwakuma's doing a good job with that mix. That fastball almost looked like it flattened out a little bit. He's got one at 86, 87 miles an hour that creates a little more sink to it. Showing a good split finger. 72-mile-an-hour pitch is that breaking ball, but really consistent in getting ahead with the fastball and then going to that secondary allotment of pitches to go after these Astros and doing a good job at it.
Getting a piece is Marwin Gonzalez. Two count.
He's doing a really good job against Marwin Gonzalez, who has had some very good success against Iwakuma in the past. I'd like to see Iwakuma make a mistake right here and let Marwin launch.
What happened to the deal a year ago that said hitters stay in the batter's box?
It's discretionary. I think after a swing or a foul tip, you can exit the box. But I think if you take a strike, take a ball, you have to stay in. But I'm sure it's up to the umpire if they're going to regulate that.
Every sign exhausted right there. The 2-2 pitch. And it goes through. Nowhere near the strike zone, but that little slider gets the strikeout. 3 in the inning, 8 on the afternoon for Iwakuma. Through 5.5, still scoreless. Start. We'll be on the air at 2:30 with the pregame show. And look at the American League ERA leaders for the teams. Astros right up there since May 1st.
Some kind of good, isn't it?
In front of the Cleveland Indians. Everybody talks about the Indians and their pitching.
Well, the Indians have stellar pitching.
I was going to say for good reason, but that's where the Astros are slotting in right now. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. McCullers still on the hill and still throwing hard. Leonis Martin, who has one of the 2 Seattle hits today, hits one of the gap in right center field, and no one's getting there. Right up against the base of the wall. Martin around second, and he's heading for third. He'll make it easily. A leadoff triple here in the 6th. Leonis Martin with a double and a triple on the afternoon, also a walk. And now Lance McCullers can use some of those strikeouts.
Which was on the outer half of the plate, maybe even the outer third. But Leonis Martin getting way out and around that fastball, wraps it into that right center field gap. And with Carlos Gomez playing in that left center field and George playing a straight up right field, wide open out there.
$41,386 on hand today, so don't know how close that is to the sellout mark in Seattle. Leadoff three-bagger Robinson Cano at the plate, and the infield has to play in this scoreless game. Cano 0 for 2 on the day. First two at bats on the day for Cano.
He's done well. Throwing a lot of breaking balls. Again, misses his spot with that curveball and gets him. Got him looking on that one on a well-placed curveball.
Cano down on strikes twice today. And how Lance McCullers needs another. On the ground, that finds a gap. It's an RBI single, and Seattle strikes first, leads it 1-0 as they score here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Robinson Cano continues to drive in runs, number 59 on his season.
Pretty good hitting. You don't want to, if you don't have to, bring that infield in, because all that does is create opportunities for a great hitter like Robinson Cano.
Well, maybe on your bobblehead day you find a hole. Brent Strom has quickened his pace a little bit from last night. The Astros have Tony Sipp and Pat Neshek in the bullpen. It's happened quickly here in the 6th inning. Leadoff triple by Martin. Robinson Cano finds a hole. He's now at first base, 1-0 Seattle. On that little base hit by Cano. Good a reaction from Lance McCullers. Well, he gets into it, there's no question. Kyle Seager at the plate, cleanup man, has hit safely in 14 straight. 0 for 1, struck out and walked. Shift on with Carlos Correa playing just on the first base side of second. A chopper off the lead foot, and Seager pays the price.
It's a similar foul ball that knocked Nelson Cruz out of today's game. Did it last night. Now Seager has the issue. Happens a lot with that down and in slider.
Ketel Marte with a would-be three-bagger last night was tagged out at the last instant at third base and banged up his ankle. Pretty good looking young shortstop.
There's a lot of those floating around the league.
Carlos Correa. Lindor in Cleveland. Boy, there are some good ones. Guy that can really swing the bat and plays a good defense with it. Xander Bogaerts with the Red Sox.
There's a shocker of Boston Red Sox on a hitting streak list.
Jackie Bradley Jr. earlier in the year. What did he get to? 33, 34? Somewhere in that
Crazy
vicinity.
like that, yeah.
And Mookie Betts has played really well. Line drive on the curveball is foul.
My gosh.
You know, your
Alyssa,
tutelage is
yeah.
not paying dividends right now.
Apparently I got to get out there earlier, work a little bit better. Hanging breaking ball. Another look at our strike zone by Envy Anderson.
"95 pitches for Lance. Still trying to get that first out here in the inning. But now a 3-2 count. Cano, not a guy that runs a lot anymore. He's at first base. Cano does not go. The fastball blown by Seager. So he's down on strikes. 8 on the afternoon for Lance McCullers. And the skip, A.J. Hinch, is briskly heading out toward the mound, already pointing to the bullpen. So that's going to do it for Lance McCullers. He gets 1 out in the 6th inning, but he's been touched for a run. And every run precious here this afternoon. Hinch will get the baseball as the right-hander Pat Neshek has been summoned. He'll jog it in here at Safeco Field. And we will be right back. 1-0 Seattle.
Astros with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th, and we go inside the box score, brought to you by Jack in the Box. Heard Ash talking about George Springer and some of the outfield assists he has. 28 as a team for the Houston Astros. Lead Major League Baseball. And I think it's a true credit to how athletic these guys are, able to get to those baseballs and the ability to get rid of it and recognize where those base runners are at. Make strong, accurate throws. That was Carlos Gomez last night. That play under review proved that Marte was out at third base. So part of what the Astros do is go out there, get good pitching, good defense, and some timely hitting.
And now Pat Neshek on to pitch for the Astros. It's 1 out. Robinson Cano at first base. Dae-Ho Lee at the plate. Neshek with a 1-1 count. Neshek falls behind 2-1. Again, back to the Astros offense. Just 1 hit today, a double by Altuve in the 1st inning. They picked up a walk, picked up by Carlos Correa in the 4th. That's been it. Iwakuma with 8 strikeouts on his day. Two and two the count. Peek at what Pat Neshek has done. You view him as one of those guys that is really this severe drop down, make it tough on the right-hand hitter kind of guy. I mean, you look at the numbers, and that's what you see with the numbers. That's foul down the left side, heading to the seats. Stays at 2-2. Those bullpens, you can look at what the Astros have done out of the pen since May 1st. Best in the business, the Royals and the Indians right behind. And a real good group of arms out of the pen for the Astros this year and last year. Hit to third. Valbuena tries to start the double play. Easy for Valbuena with Lee going down the line. And that'll do it. Neshek comes on, gets the twin killing. We played 6 innings as the Mariners put a run on the board. They lead it 1-0.
Nothing, the Mariners lead. Follow Astros Baseball live with the MLB.com at that app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Keep an eye on box scores and highlights events while you're at the game with Minute Maid's new Wi-Fi. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. The Astros are a bat right here, but guys, what did you think of Lance McCullers today?
That's a good question. I mean, his stuff was terrific. I'll let you address it more, but all in all, I mean, his stuff is so good that he's awfully tough to score on.
Well, and I think the reason we get frustrated maybe a little bit is because this stuff is that good.
Altuve hits it on the ground, backhand side for Seager, who makes the play, and quickly 1 out in the 7th.
And getting back to that point, I think it's so easy this day and age to see the stuff that Lance McCullers has and get frustrated because you play that what if game. What if he was on? What if he had the command that we've seen? Because we saw it that July 4th start that he had against Seattle when he went 7, scattered 5 hits, had 1 walk, and 10 punch-outs. The potential is obviously there.
Even that day, the fastball was completely out of command.
Yeah.
And the curveball picked up the 10 strikeouts. And, you know, what you're saying, if Lance McCullers combines the 2 pitches, throws strikes as the pitch is driven to left field and deep, back at the track, to the wall, off the top of the wall, misplayed by Robertson in left, Correa around second, and he'll have to stop. Well, he came with a big turn. He had 3 bags on his mind. Carlos Correa with a 1-out double here in the 7th.
Wow, I was hoping on this day out here in Seattle, a little bit lower humidity, sun's out, ball carry a little bit. Just got under it, but still able to drive it far enough out of the reach of Robertson, maybe with a premature launch up the wall.
Yeah, in not exactly the right spot. Watch where the ball hits.
Yeah, that GPS is a little off.
Yeah, that something went amiss there. Watch Correa around the back.
I tell you what, if that throw hits the cutoff man, he may be gunned down at second base, but still a great effort.
Yeah, I love the effort, that thought that I'm going to get 90 more feet here. So Correa, the second hit of the day for the Astros, both doubles. And Luis Valbuena at the plate. There's the sky that Robertson's looking at. A lot of cloud coverage. That should make it fairly reasonable, you would think.
Tell you what, that glare will give your Josh Hamilton some issues.
The blue-eyed syndrome, huh?
Man, yeah.
Ball and a strike. The Astros need some version of this offense to break out. Watching that ball come off the bat of Correa, I didn't anticipate that was going that far.
Me neither.
Scott Feldman now gets loose in the Stros pen. One hopper right to Cano. He'll get the out. Second of the inning as Valbuena just jogs it down the line. Into third base, Correa. And now it's up to Colby Rasmus.
And here are tonight's defensive rankings. They're going to be brought to you by Lexus. Daniel Robinson out there in left field. You're going to run on him, test him. Leonis Martin, a very good athlete, goes and gets it. Franklin Gutierrez used to be a very good center fielder, now moving over to right field. Test those arms a bit. And again, we take into account also the speed that the Houston Astros have to work with. And, you know, they are aggressive. I'd like to test that defense.
Seattle has Edwin Diaz up in the pen. He's a right-hander. Colby Rasmus. Scouting reports would tell teams he will lay down some bunts on the left side. And with that being the case, Kyle Seager, the only member of the infield on that side, drawn in. It's a ball and a strike on Colby. 42 RBIs on his year. Well spotted strike. 1-2 now.
It's kind of nasty.
It's what Iwakuma has been about in his career. He has been quite a find for the Seattle Mariners.
Tell you what, today he has not made a mistake out over the plate. Everything has been on the edges or darting out of the zone, getting some good chase swings.
Guy who has pitched in the Athens Olympics as a member of the Japanese team. He's been an MVP in Japan and the equal to the Cy Young Award winner. Ground ball right side. Cano is there, bobbles, and now makes the play, and just does get Colby Rasmus. And that'll do it. The Astros get the one-out double and strand him at third. Through 6.5. 1-0 Mariners. Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By H-E-B, no one does more than my H-E-B. And by Toyota, let's go places. It's that area, I believe, where Julia has been seen catching fish on a couple of occasions. Scott Feldman now comes on to work, pitcher number 3 on the afternoon for the Astros.
Done a great job out of that bullpen. 17 games in relief. He's got that 1.61 ERA and seen a little bit of a resurgence with the velocity coming out of the bullpen, which has been nice to see.
Hisashi Iwakuma unscored upon through 7 this afternoon as his Mariners in front 1-0. As Feldman works to Adam Lynn, Franklin Gutierrez, and Jesus Sucre. 6-7-8 for Seattle. Head off the fist. Springer reads it. And out number 1. That's been part of it for Scott Feldman, working out of the pen. That fastball has gained some velocity. I believe if you ask him, he would still like to start. But you can see some pluses about what he's done. No question, out of the bullpen. Franklin Gutierrez, the right fielder today for Seattle, has grounded out and singled. That ground out, no mere ground ball in the second inning. Great play by Luis Valbuena to get him. Not sure we gave Valbuena his due on that play. It ended the frame, and oh, what a gem it was. Ball and a strike on Gutierrez. Seattle has doubled the Astros in hits today, 4-2. Good little breaking ball. It's 1-2. Gutierrez, once upon a time known as one of the best center fielders in the game. These Mariners, in terms of runs per game, 5th best in the American League. Boston leads it, and they have much of the season. In fact, the Red Sox and Orioles, the only 2 teams to have scored over 5 runs a game. That guy's a big factor. Nelson Cruz. One lesson to learn: you want to stay in the lineup, don't foul balls off the feet. Down on strikes, Gutierrez, as the ball gets by Jason Castro all the way to the backstop. And so Gutierrez will reach. Castro acting as if he got completely surprised by the pitch. Go with 1 out. On the pass ball, Gutierrez reaches first.
Yeah, that was pretty bizarre, wasn't it?
Watch Castro react.
Like a little bit of a cutter up in the zone. Kind of surprised everybody.
It's the 9th strikeout by the Astros pitching staff. Now Sucre, the catcher at the plate, has struck out and drawn a walk. For whatever reason, over the last few years, the Astros have been very susceptible to the catchers being crossed up. Didn't really see that classic meeting somewhere out near the mound where the catcher and pitcher try to straighten out the signs, but Jason Castro with a snap throw down to first base, a good one, but not in time.
Good effort, good idea. Never know. Sometimes you catch those runners sleeping. Yeah, it seemed like in 2013-14 it was a daily occurrence where the pitchers would cross up Jason Castro.
Nice job by Jason sliding out to block this one. 2-2 the count. Yeah, it did feel that way. Sucre hitting right at 250 as Feldman comes after him. Strike three called. So 10 strikeouts now for the Astros staff. 2 outs here in the inning. We check in with Julia once again.
Thanks, Ash. We want to thank everybody for voting in our Chevy Stroh poll today. Voting on our Twitter account, Root Sports SW. We asked you, this one had West Coast flair to it. We asked you which West Coast ballpark would you most like to visit. AT&T came out on top there in San Francisco, home of the Giants.
That's a great ballpark. I think I know which one Jeff Blum would choose. Might be on the bottom of the list.
Yeah, I love Petco Park. You really can't go wrong with any of those ballparks. I like the intimacy of AT&T in San Francisco. Might be why the fans voted for it, because it really doesn't seem like there is a bad seat in that place. They are on top of you in that ballpark, which is nice.
Got a pretty good sampling of votes on the ballparks today, so we thank the fans. Feldman gets in front, 0-1, as the 9-hitter Sean O'Malley fouls it off. 0-2 the count. Yeah, it's a lot of fun always to have the fans interact with us and cast the votes. Castro again with a nice block. Ball and 2 strikes. 1-0 Mariners here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Once again tomorrow it's Colin McHugh. Yet to be announced for Seattle who goes to the mound. 3:10 start and a 2:30 start with the pregame show. Runner goes on the pitch in the dirt. Throw down, a good one. And Castro has caught another one here this afternoon. Well, a very nice throw, just a bit on that first base side. 2-6. And that'll do it for Seattle. We've played 7. The Mariners lead over the Astros 1-0. To the top of the 8th inning, and now a new look from the hill as the right-hander Edwin Diaz picks it up.
Right-hander making his 18th appearance. About that ratio right in the middle. 34 strikes, 6 walks. This kid's got a very good arm. Averaging 90, almost 97 miles an hour on the fastball. His changeup comes in there at a firm 89. Snap off a slider when necessary at 87 miles an hour.
Well, just that different look might be exactly what the Astros need here this afternoon. Very little fortune against Iwakuma. Right-hander who struck out 8 on his day, allowed just 2 hits. Pair of doubles, Altuve and Correa, and 1 walk along the way. Carlos Gomez takes a big swing.
There's that power slider to start things off. Pretty sure the book on Carlos Gomez is that he likes to hunt the heater.
Diaz has held opponents scoreless in 12 of 16 outings. And his strikeouts are off the charts.
Yeah, they are.
Almost 17.5 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Could work with that.
You know, are we talking about Little League stats? Astros have seen Diaz before as he picks up the strikeout to start the inning, or at least Valbuena has.
Saw him quite good too. Oh, ripped.
With 1 out, A.J. Reed gets a hack. Reed 0 for 2 with a strikeout. 98.
Some easy cheese. Hopefully A.J. Reed getting a good look at that first one. If he gets one in the zone, let that barrel eat.
With a shift on, A.J. Reed finds a gap on the left side. And a 1-out single. See if A.J. Hinch opts to go with a pinch runner here, and he will, as Jake Marisnick is going to head on down to first base. So a big 1-out hit for Reed.
Good managing, Ash.
I was just checking your notes there.
Yeah. The one with all the experience. Good piece of hitting.
That's why I'm sitting here. Speed aboard. A.J. Reed gets a little something started.
It was too easy, so you're up here for the challenge.
Okay, that's your spin, and I like it. Jason Castro at the plate. The Astros have stolen 68 as a club. They've been caught, however, 25 times. Those 25 caught stealings are the most in the American League, part of the style that the Astros play. Castro has grounded out and struck out. Marisnick bluffs down at first base.
Man.
And Castro takes a strike.
Not sure that's close to the zone at all. Kidding me?
Could read it on the face of Jason Castro. Not buying in.
Game's hard enough as it is. Then you expand into the other box.
Diaz has one of those arms you could certainly see as a closer. Wonder what the numbers on McCullers would be if he was out to work 1 inning a game. Saw McCullers numerous times today, up to 97.
I'd be a little bit scared to be a mascot in the stadium. Well, Nuke LaLoosh on it.
I think some heaters might not find the strike zone.
They would be upwards of 98, 99 miles an hour, I'm sure, but yeah, the direction might be an issue. I'd pay money to see that.
Yeah, we'll see now if Jake Marisnick tries to make the running game happen, and he does. He's on the move. Castro fouls it off. One and two the count. And I'm sure Marisnick has been told, if you can find a way to steal a bag, get it. We need it right now. Inside on Castro, 2-2. Gary Pettis with the signs. He won't be wearing that number 10 for long.
He's going to get a box of Cuban cigars for that jersey.
I wonder if he's going to get a little bonus, a little something for the effort.
Welcome to the team gift package.
There goes Marisnick. Pitch down and in, gets away from Sucre. So it's an easy stolen base, uncontested, as Jake Marisnick is now at second. And now a base hit gets you even in this one.
Good pitch to run on.
Number 6 on the year for Jake. Three and two on Castro. You get by him and you're back to the top with George Springer. Castro down on strikes. Second time for Jason on the day. That's 2 down, and now Springer comes to the plate. And 10 strikeouts of Astros hitters.
It's a pretty good slider. It's tough as a left-handed hitter to lay off that. Recognize inside, hold your ground, trying to anticipate the break, and when you start your swing, it just slides underneath that barrel.
George hit number 20 in the home run category last night, leading off. And that was a big swing as the Astros took game 1 of the 3-game set. 97-98 does look easy out of the arm of Diaz. Just 7 hits total on the game this afternoon. 3 picked up by Houston. And up and in, it's 2-0.
Go ahead run at home plate, George Springer. 2-0 count.
Third baseman Seager is playing deep, and might be tough for him to get to the bag. Talking about if Marisnick should take off running.
2-0 slider. And when Diaz didn't want to challenge him with the heater.
George didn't want to tie the game. He wanted to put the Astros in front.
I like it.
See Seager down there playing deep at third.
Yeah, when I would play third base and a big right-handed hitter up in this situation right here, there would have been a communication between me and the catcher saying, I'm not going to cover, so don't throw.
Another big swing and miss. And I wondered if Jake down at second base might pick up on that, or is Marisnick saying, look, I'm already in scoring position, that's enough. With nobody out, with 1 out, maybe you go. Big 2-2 pitch. And on the hands, roll to the right side. And they'll go 3-1 to retire George Springer. And that is a very big out in this game. So Marisnick is stranded. We played 7.5 with Seattle still on top, 1-0.
Performance is going to be brought to you by Kubota. Lance McCullers on the day. Only gave up that 1 run. We're going to give him a little bit of love, even though he threw 97 pitches in 5 1/3 innings. Got 8 punch outs. Scattered those 4 walks and 4 hits. Still, again, trouble with that command. But again, keeping his ball club in this ball game, not letting things get out of hand with those base runners on.
Sharply hit ground ball through the right side by O'Malley as he takes the hack on Scott Feldman, working his second inning. So it's a leadoff single for O'Malley, and now the top of the order coming up. Daniel Robertson will bat. Feldman came on and pitched a scoreless 7th inning. In the 9th inning, the Astros have due up Marwin Gonzalez, Jose Altuve, and Carlos Correa. So they're right where they'd like to be, 2, 3, 4 in the order. High chopper on the bunt off the plate, and Feldman able to make the play, wisely utilizing the glove. Well, if you're going to lay down a sacrifice bunt, maybe no better bunt you could drop down.
That was incredible. Pretty good hang time. Defies logic. Ball redirected backwards, but off a home plate, ends up in fair territory.
Might have been some guys going for a double on that. A.J. Hinch heads to the mound. That's going to do it for Scott Feldman, as the left-hander Tony Sipp has been summoned to face at least a few left-handed bats now for Seattle. Bottom of the 8th inning, 1-0 Mariners. We'll be right back with Tony Sipp on the hill. on hand at Safeco Field. Mariners lead it 1-0. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Tony Sipp comes on, and he faces left-handed row now. Leonys Martin, Robinson Cano, and Kyle Seager.
36th appearance for Tony Sipp. The whip up over 1.5. He's got good numbers against Seattle in his career with that 2.04 ERA.
Sean O'Malley is at second base. Had a leadoff single here in the inning. Daniel Robertson laid down the sac bunt. So there's one out. Martin having a perfect day, a double and a triple, also a walk as he pops one up on the right side. And that's going to find its way back over that first base dugout. About 4 or 5 rows back. Martin with a big swing. He's shown some pop this year, 11 home runs. On 1 the count. Another pop-up. Not quite the same spot, very close though. It's 0-2. Martin hitting .250 on the year. On base percentage reasonable at .323. Yeah, the assignment is clear for Tony Sipp. Get those left-handed bats. Nice job by Castro.
Extremely nice.
Get that fastball just jammed in the ground, and it's just, as Blummer often says, 9-1-1. Oh, was that the slider?
Yeah, it looked like he got on the side of that thing and just yanked it.
Could have been, yeah.
But again, way out in front of home plate.
It's tough to read when you see a guy just jam it in the dirt 56 feet away.
Then you try and anticipate where that ball is going to skip after the front of the plate's been chewed up for the last 7 innings.
Talking about Martin and those home runs this year, the 11 home runs that he has, the most already in any season that he's had. Five years with the Texas Rangers, now in his first with Seattle. Tony Sipp, pitcher number 4 on the afternoon for the Astros. And as Tony Sipp can do, game certainly slows down with him on the mound. Slider got him. Oh, big out. That's number 11 for the Astros pitching staff. 2 down. Robinson Cano coming to the plate. First base open, but Kyle Seager waiting on deck.
Pretty good sequence by Tony Sipp. Left a couple of sliders up in the zone, got the foul balls, but able to go to that put away slider down and away when he needed it.
For Cano, 1 for 3 today. That one hit in the 6th inning drove in the game's only run. He has kind of fisted one through the left side. Ground ball to the right side. Altuve makes the play. So it's still 1-0 for the Astros coming up in the ninth. Marwin Gonzalez, Jose Altuve, and Carlos Correa. The Mariners lead. We go to the ninth inning. It is Marwin Gonzalez, Jose Altuve, and Carlos Correa coming up for Houston. They'll do it against the closer Steve Cishek now on to pitch for the M's.
He's got himself 21 saves in 26 opportunities. That ERA right around 3.51. Again, that opponent batting average not extremely high. It just seems that every once in a while make a mistake, get beat up. For the Astros to try and get some base runners on and create havoc out there.
Third pitcher of the afternoon for Seattle, and Marwin tries to get something started. 0 for 3 today for Marwin, a couple of strikeouts. The Astros tried to make something happen in the 8th inning against Edwin Diaz, a guy who had great stuff. But in the end, it didn't happen. George Springer got completely blown up as he grounded out. Marwin takes a strike, doesn't like the call.
The outside edge of the plate has been a little bit expansive. Maybe that slider came back a little bit. It may not have.
Felt like McCullers might have benefited a few times today. More on the right-hand hitters on that slider coming back. And quickly 0-2 the count.
Seen a couple of good sliders from Cishek. He also has a changeup. Fastball is right around 91.5 miles an hour.
One and two the count. For the Astros, just 3 hits on the day. Altuve with a double. Correa had a double. A.J. Reed picked up a base hit. Jake Marisnick then pinch ran and stole a bag, but was stranded at second as this is lined down the right field side and fair into the corner. Marwin heads for second base, and he'll stop there, a leadoff 2-bagger. And how the Astros needed that swing.
Marwin's seen a healthy diet of sliders from this Seattle Mariner ball club. Right here does a pretty unbelievable job to go down and scoop this one into that right field corner. Nice piece of hitting, sneaking inside that line. Nice way to lead off this ninth. See if the Astros can capitalize.
You always feel that with a leadoff double that you should score a run, so a golden opportunity.
Completely agree on that.
And you've got Altuve and Correa coming to the plate. Corners draw in on Jose. as he shows bunt, bunts it back to the mound, and they're going to fire to third, and they've got Marwin in a rundown. And the tag applied. Altuve heads into second. So Marwin is out. Altuve, who picked up a couple of sacrifice bunts Sunday, tries to do the same, and it winds up just adding an out. I don't know how you feel, but Altuve and his ability to hit to the right side, I'll take a swing any day.
And I understand Altuve wants to play the team game and tie this thing up, but I just think that he has a much better chance swinging the bat, as I'm sure you do, Ash. He is too good a hitter to be giving away ABs like that.
So one out. Altuve with his speed aboard at second.
He is a .307 hitter with runners in scoring position, is Jose Altuve.
Which is well above what the Astros do as a team, as the league does.
And we know he is very good at handling the bat too. Therefore, I would have given him a chance to try and go the other way and possibly drive him in that way too.
To me, his abilities to hit the ball where he desires, and then you take the shot at the base hit to score the run, take that anytime. Anybody who thinks the sacrifice bunt is an automatic move of the runner, not so. Altuve goes the throw, and Altuve steals the bag, and that could prove big.
Well, I think Altuve understands the situation too. He needs to get to third base as quickly as he possibly can. That is why he bunted in the first place. And luckily he has the speed and ability and the intellect to get down there. Got himself a pretty good jump on that pitch away.
Got a great pitch to run on. So Altuve picks up the stolen base, and now 90 feet away for Carlos Correa to try to tie this game.
It's a pretty interesting stat on the Seattle Mariner notes brought to my attention by our stage manager, saying the Astros have played in 32 one-run games. The second place team is Seattle with 31 one-run games.
That is a note that,
wow.
I think from the Astros perspective, you'd have to say, yeah, there have been a lot of close games, no question. Seattle right in that same ballpark. By the way, the stolen base by Altuve, his 24th. He's been caught just 3 times. Swing and a miss on the slider that kind of hangs through the plate. And now full count on Carlos Correa. The infield is drawn in for the M's. Does he see another slider? He sees another one, can't hit it, and down on strikes, and what an enormous out that is.
I agree, that is a big out. Not that Valbuena can't get the job done, but Carlos Correa is your RBI machine in the middle part of that order. Just kind of waved at it in a 3-2 count.
And all you needed, not necessarily the hit, but a fly ball. You got a tie ball game. Instead, it's down to 2 outs. Meeting at the mound for Seattle, Mel Stottlemyre out there. But Cishek, with a couple of sliders there, just made life really tough on Carlos Correa. The Astros with a win today pulled to within 3.5 of the first place Texas Rangers, but it's not going to come easily. That slider stays away. Valbuena is 0 for 3 with a punch out. There's a big outside edge.
I don't see that ball catching the plate at all. I know it's a slider, but it starts over in the outside part of the box of that right-handed hitter's box and does not come back for me at all. It's a pretty good visual on it right there too.
Start seeing a catcher snatch that far, and tells you right away. And now down to a strike. 1-2 on Valbuena. Can he pull another miracle act? It would seem unlikely that he gets a fastball here. But he did get the heat up. In a 2-2 count. Colby Rasmus waiting on deck. No call on that slider that tries to creep back in. It's a full count. Colby Rasmus has to feel the weight of the moment. Got him on the slider. Cishek able to bring that slider back over the outside edge, and Valbuena couldn't pull the trigger, and that'll do it for the Astros this afternoon as they fall to the Seattle Mariners 1-0. Great starting job by Hisashi Iwakuma. And you see that final pitch of the afternoon, pretty much perfectly placed. And the Astros offense just couldn't mount anything against Seattle. So the Astros had a chance to pull to within 3.5 in the American League West. They will stay at 4.5 as they drop today's game 1-0.
Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Leonys Martin led off that 6th inning with a triple, backed up by a Robinson Cano base hit for the only run in this ballgame.
One more in the series tomorrow, as the Astros will send Colin McHugh to the mound. A 3:10 start Central Time, 2:30 on that pregame show. 1-0 Seattle this afternoon.